Join us on this episode of the Ducks Unlimited podcast. We're doing some backyard cooking out for 4th of July. We can't think of a better way to celebrate Independence Day than hanging out with friends and family. And to do that, we've got special guest, Mr. Malcom Reed, over from How to BBQ Right, to give us some great tips and tricks today. Malcom, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jerad. Always look forward to hanging out. Anytime we can be outside, firing up the grill, especially celebrating the 4th. It's going to be fun, man. I'm going to show you some of my favorite recipes to do around the 4th holiday.
Awesome, man. I've got one I'm going to throw on for you. So tune in.
Can we do a mic check, please?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ducks Unlimited podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mike Brazier.
I'm your host, Katie Burke.
I'm your host, Dr. Jerad Henson. And I'm your host, Matt Harrison.
Welcome to the Ducks Unlimited podcast, the only podcast about all things waterfowl. From hunting insights to science-based discussions about ducks, geese, and issues affecting waterfowl and wetlands conservation in North America. The DU Podcast, sponsored by Purina Pro Plan, the official performance dog food of Ducks Unlimited. Purina Pro Plan, always advancing. Also proudly sponsored by Bird Dog Whiskey and Cocktails. Whether you're winding down with your best friend or celebrating with your favorite crew, Bird Dog brings award-winning flavor to every moment. Enjoy responsibly.
All right, Malcom. Well, we don't have the best weather today, but we're making do.
That's all right. Hey, I'm not mad at it. You know, it rains, and I still cook in the rain, and you're not going to stop your holiday activity just because of a little rain, so we're going to do some cooking.
What do we got going right now? This is the first thing we've got going.
So for me, when I'm thinking holiday food, I always think of the appetizer first, and usually it's some type of dip. I like to do hot dips that I can do on the grill. So this was just kind of our favorite camp-style dip. It's a queso or a cheese dip.
Yep.
I do add meat to it to, bulk it up. Mm-hmm. But it's, it's a blend of some American cheese, and that's what you got to have for a good cheese dip. Then I add cream cheese to make it rich. And we're going to get all those ingredients put together right now.
And on top of that, we're adding the smoke.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to cook this
that up
on the smoker. So you're getting a whole
That's a level above a crock pot right there.
Right,
for sure, man, for sure.
All right. So first, I've got 2 pounds of processed cheese. I've got that Golden Gold Velveeta, but you could use whatever processed cheese you like, man. And I went ahead. I like to go. You could put it in whole, but it kind of breaks down faster if you cube it up. So I cubed this up a little off camera.
Yeah.
But I just want to get it kind of broke up a little bit so it'll melt. That's the only thing. Now, I like to add the cream cheese element to it, too, because it just gives it a richer cheese flavor. It blends in real good. It melts, so it's going to get nice and smooth and creamy.
Yeah.
Let's add our block of cream cheese, just roughly cubed as well. And the whole time we're adding smoke to it, it's going to be getting hot and bubbly and melty, and that's what's going to make it so good. So, for the pepper element, I've got 2 cans of Rotel, which is diced green chilies and peppers. And tomatoes.
Yep, Did you go with original, mild?
This one's just the original. It's not too hot. It's about medium. They do have a hot. And they got
you can take it up or down depending upon your preferences.
Now I like to add a little extra, so I've got a can of diced green chilies going in it too, and it will add a little heat. This isn't a super mild dip, but it's not gonna burn you.
You're putting a lot of cheese in there. It's gonna mellow it out a lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now I browned up some sausage over on the pit, the iron skillet.
Yep.
You can do this on the stovetop. It doesn't matter. And I do like to
breakfast sausage,
just regular store-bought breakfast sausage. This is a great way to use your wild game, though. We do that at deer camp all the time. We just, brown it up same way. Yep. Add it. So 1 pound of any brown meat will work. Then we've got to season it a little bit. So I've got some of my Mexican-style seasoning. If you got a favorite, by all means, use it. This is my Grande Gringo. So you don't have to use a ton of it. We just want to season our cheese dip, the queso. Probably about a tablespoon if I had to guess.
I wish y'all could already smell this. It's already coming together. So
now I didn't drain the Rotel tomatoes and peppers, or I didn't drain the diced green chilies. So it has some moisture to it.
Yep.
But we still need a little more. So after I get it mixed just a little bit, and we're gonna be stirring this the whole time anyway. So it doesn't have to look good right now.
Right.
But I am gonna add just a little bit of milk. So if I had to give you an amount, just start with a 1/4 cup. You can always add more, but you can't take it away once you get it too thin.
Right.
So,
and since you're doing that, putting it on the smoker, you always want to put that off the heat.
That's right. We're not.
You're going to burn that milk if you
exactly.
Get it on the heat,
so we're just wanting to bring it up nice and slow. So if you think of a temperature range, you want to be 250 to 300. That's not going to get the milk too hot and burn. It's going to let it melt nice and slow. Just kind of keep it off to the side of the grill. So let's go throw it on. It's ready.
Sounds good, man.
You got it up. We got the grill good and hot. I'm just going to put this queso kind of in the back corner, and we're going to let it get happy on the grill. It's going to add some smoke to it. It's going to add some heat. We're going to have a ton of flavor in it.
That's going to be amazing, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Now we just got to let it cook. We'll start about every 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
So, Jerad, the second recipe I want to show you is one of my favorites for 4th of July. I call it firecracker wings. Now, the wing part is just whole wings. You could use party wings, like cut them up into individual segments. But I like that whole wing. Just when it's cooked together, it stays juicier. That skin gets nice and tight on it, kind of crispy a little bit on the grill. That's what makes it good. And what's special is this firecracker sauce I'm gonna make you. You ready to see it?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
I love a smoked wing, so I'm really excited about this recipe.
So I've got one large family pack of whole wings. But so we're gonna get these laid out. And then I'm just gonna get some simple seasoning on it. And I like a barbecue flavor on this because we're thinking holiday, 4th of July. You're thinking barbecue, so what's better, chicken. So we're just going to add that kicked up firecracker flavor to it.
And that's that good finger food people can walk around.
Exactly. You don't have to have the fork and the knife to eat chicken wings, and that's why I like to serve them, because you can walk around, socialize, grab a wing, what's
Wash
better?
It down with an adult beverage.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get these wings kind of spread out here on our cutting board. And then I've got some of my hot rub. It just goes really good with chicken. It's not too sweet. It has a little bit of a kick for it. But when you're thinking firecracker chicken wings, it's got to have some spice,
right? Yeah, it's a wing.
We're going to start with these, and we're just going to give them a good coat. Now, I don't use a binder or anything like that on these chicken wings. You could brine them if you like, but because it just gives some more flavor to them. But most of the time, man, I'm just going straight out of the pack. Make sure that there's no feathers or anything that looks bad that you don't want to eat on them. And these were perfectly fine. And we're putting seasoning on them.
Sounds good.
So once we get one side done, we're going to flip them because we want our food to taste good on both sides. Always season both sides. Just want a nice coverage.
Good liberal coat.
Yeah. Good coat on them.
It's good about wings. They can take a lot of seasoning.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to be burning and turning a little bit on here because we're going to cook them in a hot spot of the grill. Okay. I really like a wing to cook around 350 to 400, right in that temperature range. And the reason being, it's still getting some grill flavor from it, but you need that higher temperature to render that fat and to get that skin right. If not, your chicken skin is going to be rubbery, and you don't want to eat rubbery chicken skin.
That's not very tasty. And what kind of temperature are you going to go to when you go to cooking? What do you like to cook wings into?
White meat chicken is done at 165.
Right.
That's perfectly fine for a breast, but a wing at 165 is too chewy to me.
Yep.
I like it to go a little higher, so I'm not scared if my wings get above 185.
Yep.
They're perfect. That's when the bones are going to come out. You can pull them apart. It's just perfect to eat at that temperature. Now, some people will say, well, that's way overdone, but a wing has enough skin and enough fat in it that it keeps it nice and juicy. That's why I take them a little bit further.
That's right. Yeah, that's kind of similar to what I like to do. And then also chicken thighs and stuff too.
Oh yeah, thighs
that too.
Absolutely. Breast is the only thing I'm like 165 and that's it, or to be dry.
Or you're going, nobody likes a dry bird.
So we're ready to get these wings on the pit, man.
Get on. Are we going on? We're going directly on heat.
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna go not over direct heat, but I'm gonna put them right on the side there. So I'm just gonna stick them in this pan where they're kind of close.
So Malcolm, on holiday meals, one of my favorite things to do is reach back in there in that freezer, go pull out some of that wild game. I generally have some duck left over. Right here, we got some Arkansas green timber mallards. When I get my ducks home, I pluck the breast and then breast them out with skin and fat on. Duck fat's fantastic.
Oh, I love it. It gets so crispy when you sear it, dude.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And adds that extra flavor. And it also keeps that duck from drying out as much too. So I cleaned up these birds. Then one of the things, if you leave the skin on a duck breast, as soon as it hits a hot grill, it's gonna shrink up fast. So I cross-hatched them where that skin won't shrink up as fast. It'll help that fat render, keep that flavor going. Gotcha. Well, the other things I did is I put them in a brine overnight. I used some of your bird brine, use a little bit of that. And with duck, I like to bring a little extra sweetness. So I added a little bit extra brown sugar to that bird brine.
Is it just water mixed with it?
Water mixed with the bird brine. And then a little bit extra brown sugar overnight. Let that sit. When we brought them in this morning, rinse the brine off. And then I put them in a real quick marinade with a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and then a little bit of AP seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic. That
So
flavor
it's
goes.
simple flavors.
Whatever you would like with a good steak. That's my favorite way to do it. Your brine has a little rosemary,
Yes.
and that's always fantastic with duck as well. So we're gonna get these on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put them on skin side down for just a second, let that skin kind of crisp and render just a little bit, that fat, and then we'll move them over till they get done off that direct heat. Let that finish cooking, a little bit of that fat rendered out.
Now, what
through.
temperature are you trying to cook duck to?
These will not go over 130.
Okay, so I'm with you on that.
We're not going over.
That's me,
I mean,
man.
135
Overcooked,
is like max.
I got you.
And so,
So that medium rare, just right
Medium.
before medium
Yep.
range.
yep. And if you get to medium, you're fine. If you go over medium, that's gonna bring out that gamey flavor. It's gonna be chewy. It's gonna take all that wonderful duck flavor away. So treat it like you treat your favorite steak.
Absolutely.
So that's my way to do it. We're gonna get these on the grill and check on them in a little bit. I'll show you how I serve them. I also made a pretty tasty sauce that we can put on top of them
Right.
too. So. All right, Malcolm. Weather's clearing up. Birds are chirping. It's turning into a pretty day.
Yeah, we got some nice sunshine now, so it feels like barbecue time, right?
It does. It does. You got one more thing you're gonna throw on for us? What do we got going?
Absolutely. So I like, when I'm doing 4th of July cooks to have finger type food. That's why we did the wings. Well, this one is a slider version, so I'm kind of turning it into some barbecue elements. I've got some pork tenderloin, and we're going to cook it barbecue style. We're going to get it seasoned up on the pit, and then we're going to slice it thin and serve it on slider buns with a nice coleslaw. Keep it real
Sounds
simple,
awesome.
a little extra barbecue sauce, maybe some pickles, but it's a hand, pick it up, go, hang out with your buddies, enjoy 4th of July holiday.
Another big thing too with all these recipes, you'll notice none of them are super long cooks.
That's right. They're not too long, so you're going to be able to enjoy you're not spending all that time at the grill. I know everybody wants to get at the grill, but you don't want to stay there all day. So these cooks are pretty fast, and you can get them done a lot ahead of time. So when your guests show up, your family's ready, you can hang out and enjoy the whole holiday.
Exactly.
So let me show you how we do these barbecue pork tenderloin sliders. I'm starting with these little pork tenderloins, and they usually come in a double pack if you go to your grocery store. We're just going to lay them out, and I am going to use a little binder on them. Whenever I'm cooking barbecue, I like to put a little something on the meat to help my seasoning stick, to build that bark layer. Today, I'm just using simple yellow mustard, but you could get fancy with it if you wanted to use any kind of flavor. There's all kinds of things you could use as the binder. But we're just going to go a light coat of yellow mustard. Now, the mustard really doesn't give it a whole lot of flavor, but what it does, it gives it a coat or something for the seasoning to stick to, and it has that bright yellow color. I can see where I'm putting my seasoning, so I know I get good coverage.
Not missing spots. Yeah, that's
exactly
a great
right.
idea. Yep. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, and this is like standard Memphis style barbecue, that dry rub
man.
style.
I know you've seen it from hanging out in the competition world a little bit, so that's kind of where this comes from barbecue competitions. I don't know a lot of people that do it in restaurants this way, but this is the way I learned. It won me a lot of trophies. So once we get them slathered down with the light coat of mustard, I like to use 2 seasonings on them. My first is a savory, kind of a seasonal. I call it AP, all purpose, but it's salt, pepper, garlic, little herbs in it, and it's flavors that everybody knows, and it gives the meat a great foundation. So we're just going to go a light coat.
So it's basic flavors that are good on all.
That's
proteins.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And I guarantee everybody's got the makings of this seasoning in your spice cabinet. Now, second, since we're doing barbecue, I'm using my barbecue rub. If you got a favorite one, man, by all means use it. Just watch the salt content, because we did put salt on it already. You don't want to get it overly salty, so my rub's not too salty. It's kind of a balanced, sweeter side.
Right.
Memphis barbecue.
Yep.
But if you got one that's a little saltier, you might want to skip or hold back on the AP a little bit.
Gotcha.
So we're just going to put a layer of our barbecue rub on it, make sure we got a nice coat. It's not super heavy. We're not caking it on, just a dusting. But you want to kind of cover up that yellowness of the mustard. And we're going to flip them, make sure we get all of it covered.
And Malcolm, like, how many sliders you think you could get out of this?
Oh man, yeah, it's good. Yeah, these they look small, but really they feed a lot of people. That's one reason why I like to do them, because you just put a couple slices of each one.
Yeah.
And we cut them fairly thin, but man, this feeds a lot. Yeah, you feed a lot of people with this. It's a really inexpensive way to do something that's different, creative. And you can season them all different kind of ways and have multiple, different choices for your guests to eat. Now you could do some barbecue style. You could do savory style like you did the duck earlier.
Yep.
You can brine them. You can marinate them. They do really well taking on flavor. That's pretty much it. Now what I do like to do is just kind of move them around, make sure that seasoning's sticking to the outside. And then we're going to let these rest a little bit. I like to give them at least about 30 minutes, just kind of sitting out at room temperature. What that's going to do is it's going to start drawing moisture out, flavor in, and we're going to get kind of a little dry brining effect going on for a few minutes.
Helps
and
make that crust on the
exactly
outside.
right.
Oh.
Exactly right.
Well, Malcolm, duck's getting done. Skin has gotten a little soft, so I'm gonna flip it over, throw it back on that hot side real quick, put a little crisp back on that skin, and we're gonna be ready to pull them off real soon. They're pinning already. I checked them. They're sitting 125, 130 right now.
Perfect.
All right, duck's pulling off. It's getting crisp up. That skin's looking fantastic.
Oh man, beautiful color on it too. It kind of gets a
Smells
golden
good.
look to it. So you want it to kind of start drawing up a little bit, but that hatch mark kept it from doing like postage stamp.
That's exactly right. It keeps it, and it also, like I said, helps it render out so much better. All right, Malcolm, duck's off. It's rested. We're gonna slice it up.
Tell me about this sauce.
I made a little
man.
sauce here. So everybody loves a good duck popper, right?
Right. Everybody knows that's the recipe. Everybody knows
Right.
poppers.
I'm of the mentality that you don't need bacon to make good duck, but a duck popper is fantastic. But it's really hard to get the bacon done right and the duck done right.
That's the challenge.
If you cook the duck right, the bacon's still raw on the outside. If you cook the bacon right, the duck's a it's a charcoal briquette in the middle. So what I did is deconstruct that. So we've got some bacon, some jalapeno, some cream cheese mixed into a sauce, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and some Mexican crema to thin it out.
Give it that sauce consistency.
Gives it that duck popper flavor. But now you've separated the two that are hard. And we'll put a link in the description on.
I've never had
sauce,
this.
so
that is
it's gonna
cool,
be fun,
man. I can't wait to try it.
And you can take this, and I love to spice this up. Like I use tamed jalapenos for this, but you can take the heat up on it. You can add some like the sweetened jalapenos a little bit too, candied, cowboy candy, and that's pretty good.
Oh
So
man,
let's grab one of these duck breasts. They're looking fantastic.
they are juicy. You can see that we've let them rest, so the juice is going to be in the meat.
It's right there. So we got like this. You see that duck breast laid out. Most of those fibers on that duck breast are gonna go this way. So I always like to come right off that point. And it's just kind of like you were saying earlier, if you're cutting a brisket, if you cut on the bias a little bit, cut across that grain, man, those slices turn out way better. Look at that
And it's just
juice.
medium rare. And that's how I want to eat duck. Crispy skin, medium rare meat, melt in your mouth.
Holds all that moisture. That's one of the reasons I brine as well, is it just gives you that forgiveness. Instead of being like perfect doneness, being like a 30-second window, perfect doneness is maybe a minute and a half, right? Because you're not losing too much moisture.
It makes it retain all that
It
flavor,
does.
that juice, that moisture that's in it.
Yeah. I'll let you be the
So I'm going to try it without the sauce first.
first.
Without
Sounds
the
good.
sauce, the little trace of crispy fat across the edge.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, that'll work.
Man,
Good. Mm-hmm.
folks that say they don't like duck don't know what they're talking about, man.
It's so easy.
yeah.
Just some basic things. Don't overcook it. Man, you can make duck taste fantastic.
dude.
So
So let's try it with the
some
sauce.
sauce, yeah.
Yeah. Dab a little on with the sauce. Popper. Cream cheese is the perfect temp. It's warm, but not, scald your mouth like sometimes you bite into a popper. You get the flavor of the bacon, you get the jalapeno immediately, but it's not spicy.
no.
It's
I went
just
tame on everything.
Excellent popper flavor.
And this is a great way to pull that duck out of the freezer that you've had sitting in there, pull it out holiday, grill it up. Everybody will love it if you go ahead and slice it up like this, serve it with a little dipping sauce. That stuff will walk off.
Oh, that's not gonna last long here, I promise. So Jerad, now to get these pork tenderloins cooking, we've got a good cold bed going first. And I'm doing them a lot like you did that duck breast to render that fat on that duck. I want to sear the outside of these pork tenderloins. They don't have a lot of fat on them, but they will still sear up and they'll kind of lock in some flavor. And then we'll move them over and let them come up slow. It's kind of like a reverse. It's like a sear and then the reverse part.
Right,
So,
yeah.
sear and bring them up. So we had them seasoned. They were sitting for about 30 minutes. I'm just going to grab them out and go right over the hot part of some coals.
That seasoning's tacked up real good.
Yes, sir. They're going to need about 2 minutes and then turn them and then about the same thing on the opposite side. We're just going to do this all around. I do want to shut the grill down to keep that heat on them, but you just want to set a little timer, like 2 minutes, come back and roll them.
Okay.
So after 2 minutes, we're just going to check them and see how we're doing. They're starting to get some color on them. They're not cooking too fast, which is actually perfect. I just want to start searing the outside. So we're just going to roll them a little bit. So, Jerad, for the firecracker sauce that we're going to toss these wings in, I want to go ahead and get it heated up, get it on the pit, get some flavor on it. So I'm starting with some brown sugar. Usually I use about a half a cup, but we're eyeballing, man. This is outside cooking. You don't have to be perfect. If it's a little on the heavy side, we're just going to use the whole bottle of hot sauce. You know, the recipe is really kind of like half-half, but
that sweet heat, man, is fantastic.
That's what makes this sauce so good. The sweetness offsets that heat in it.
And that hot sauce you have has a pretty heavy garlic kick.
It
too,
does.
right?
So yeah.
So that's going to bring in that extra flavor.
If you think of like your favorite, a lot of people like Frank's hot sauce. It's kind of got a garlicky note. I kind of emulated that a little bit when I made this. And I wanted a hot sauce I could eat.
Yeah.
I'm not a burn them down guy. I like spice, but I like it to have flavor, man. I don't
Good flavor and that acid, right? Because that
Exactly
acid is all
right.
you're doing the way you cook.
That's right. And we're adding a little more acid to it, about a tablespoon of cider vinegar.
Okay.
So I'm just going to kind of use the cap and yeah, that's about a tablespoon.
Sounds
We're
good.
not getting crazy with it here. And I do add a little more spice and just a little more salt, just to give us a balance. So I've got some crushed red pepper. We're going to shake some of that into it. This is where you get it hot as you want it. If you wanted to add some ground cayenne, if you wanted to add a lot of that, you could.
That's
I
going
usually
to
go
add
by
some
a
cool
teaspoon.
color on those wings
Exactly.
too, right?
It gives you a
See
little
those
texture.
flake. Yeah.
And then I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. So I'll just kind of pour some in my hand. There we go. Then all you want to do is stir it to where that sugar starts to dissolve and get it on the pit a little while. You don't really have to bring it to a boil or anything. We're just going to warm it up, get that sugar melted good. Then we're going to toss those wings when they get done in this sauce. And I'm just going to set the sauce right here on the pit by the wings. Just let it kind of warm up. We're not cooking it hard, so it's going to be okay. We've got our pork tenderloins kind of seared up on the outside, starting to get some color, some good seared flavor going on them. So now I'm just going to move these pork tenderloins to a cooler side of the grill. We're going to bring them up till they're about 135 to 140 internal. Wings are looking good.
They'll be nice and juicy.
That's exactly right. They're going to be nice and juicy and tender. Have that barbecue flavor.
All that flavor.
So our queso is looking fantastic, y'all. It is hot. It is melted.
That.
I mean, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about something that's a crowd pleaser. Hot, melted smoked cheese dip. Man,
Yeah. Everybody loves queso.
That's
You
right.
take
Everybody
that,
loves
you took it up a notch. Right?
We
You
do.
smoke it, and like that's fantastic.
It's just another level of flavor that you get from the pit. Of course, you could do this inside. You could do it in a crock pot. That's what most people do. But adding it to your grill, just letting it come up slow on the side is so easy. Now, when I get ready to serve it, I like to take a little bit of fresh pico, and you could chop this up yourself, but they sell these little containers at every
Makes it
grocery
easy.
store. And I'll just kind of garnish it a little bit. We're just going to float a little pico right on top.
Center.
I do have the spoon in there so people can get out some for themselves. But this is just kind of rustic, family style. Let me move that just a little to the side. So we're just going to make a little pico on it. We're going to take a little bit of our Grande Gringo Mexican seasoning just to kind of garnish a little
Top it
bit,
off.
just to give it a little look, a little extra flavor right on top.
That's that barbecue flair too.
That's
Gotta
right.
Have a little
That's
of
right.
that.
And then we're just going to serve it with some tortilla chips. You can set the bag out. You can pour them out, whatever you like. We're just going to dump some on the board here and let people help themselves. But it is so easy to do a queso like this. And it goes a long way, feeds a lot of people. It's a great appetizer. It's a great starter for any of your parties.
While you're waiting on other stuff to come off the pit, it's
That's
a
it.
great way to keep people distracted.
That's exactly right. They're not going to be bothering you when the barbecue's done.
Oh, I like
If
the
you,
dusting on the chips too.
If you got it, but hey, you want to give it a try?
I do. I can't
Don't
wait.
let it take the hide off your tongue. 'Cause
I'll
it's
try.
hot.
Yeah, she was boiling just a second ago.
So we're just going to go in, get a little pico maybe. A little bit of that hot cheese dip.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Cheers.
How do we do?
Oh yeah,
Perfect every time.
that's fantastic.
So much flavor, so easy,
Good.
few ingredients. Forget about what's on the grill.
Man,
All there is to
it's
it.
Amazing. Malcolm, killer cheese dip. I think we need a drink.
I think it's cocktail time. What are we having today?
So we got a little bit of Bird Dog peach flavored whiskey.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
So this is a peach shandy that we're going to feature with some Bird Dog whiskey, a little bit of Busch Light. We're going to go about an ounce or so whiskey here. All this good
healthy
cold.
dose of the whiskey,
Yeah,
right?
we'll go. Yeah, a little heavy there. We'll go there.
I like your style.
And then we're going half and half on.
Busch Light
Busch
and like
Light,
a
light beer.
lemonade spritzer.
Yeah, this is a lemonade sparkling drink,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
carbonated too.
Just about half and half.
Half and half. We're just pouring on like that. Yep.
This is an easy summer mixer.
Cheers.
All right, let's see how it goes. Bird dog.
Yeah, dude, that's good.
I love it. I love
That's
it.
good.
Bird dog's good stuff. So our pork should be pretty close to glazing. Let's check it out, open it up, see where we're at. We've just had it cruising on this back side back here. So what I like to do is I'd like to take a handheld thermometer. You could use whatever kind of thermometer you like, but you're looking for it to be above 130 at this point. 135 to 140 is our target, but we don't, and this is where we want to glaze them if they're there. So I'm going to use my probe, and we're looking like 135, 131. I mean, these are perfect to where you want them. 132, this is where you want to glaze them.
So what are we glazing with?
So I've just got my barbecue sauce. So let's move them. I want to move them direct. This is kind of a char glaze technique, or you can't leave them over direct heat too long with the sauce or they'll burn.
But it's going to caramelize that sugar.
But it's going to caramelize it, and it's going to kind of glaze it down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move them one by one directly over these coals. You can see they've shrunk up a little bit. That's what they're supposed to do. That's the juices and the fat rendering that's inside them. So we've got our tenderloins lined up, and I'm using the barbecue sauce. You could use whatever barbecue sauce you like. You got a favorite kind?
What style barbecue sauce would you call that?
This is a Memphis competition
Red,
sauce right here. Memphis Red, that's right. And I've just got a little brush, so we'll just kind of put some on.
But you can use your favorite, whatever you like.
Exactly right.
Just something sweet.
That's all you want, just whatever barbecue sauce. This is where you can make it your own. We'll let that set a few minutes, roll it, do the same thing to the backside. Char glazing, baby. We'll close the lid for just about 2 or 3 minutes. We got to sauce this backside a little bit, expose it to the direct heat. And we're almost there internally. They're feeling great. We'll just add a little more sauce.
It's when you know you're a pro. You can tell by feel.
Yeah. Start smelling good. That sauce dripping down on those coals. We just need a few more minutes. So we've glazed all sides of our pork tenderloin. So I just want to verify my internal temperature one more time. Remember, I'm looking for 135 to 140. Yep. It's soft, 138, 135, 139. All of these are done. This is all I want to see. I'm verified. So now we're going to take them up, and we got to rest them. So what I like to do,
juices redistribute.
Exactly. Let it slow down. If we slice right into them, we're going to lose all that moisture. So we want them to rest. Nice look to the outsides of them.
Yeah, they look amazing. Good glaze look on them.
What we're going to do is just take them, put a light layer full over the top, set them to the side, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to make some sliders.
Ooh.
Check them out. So we've had our wings roll until they hit about 190 to 195 internal. And the reason why I want them to go that high is because they tear apart so easy. They're fully rendered. The skin is just right. They've got this beautiful texture on them.
They look amazing. And I'm a science nerd, so you got all that connective tissue, that collagen in there. You got to get it up above like 170 to start rendering that stuff. So that
is why we take them that far. Yep. Exactly. So I'm going to get them off. And then we've had our firecracker sauce just staying warm back here. We're going to toss these wings in that sauce, and that's how we're going to serve them. Sweet heat with these barbecue flavors, and then from the smoke from our fire, it's going to be a fantastic combination. So when it comes to tossing wings, I've found that just a basic plastic bowl with the lid is the easiest way.
Minimize the mess.
That's exactly right. It's easy to wash. I don't do all of them at the same time. I only do a few at a time. So we'll just put a few of these wings
Make sure those wings can bounce around in there and get coated well.
I got about 5 in there. What I like to do is I take my sauce, just swirl it a little bit to mix it up. We've already melted the sugars, combined all the flavors, and we're just going to drizzle some of this over these wings. You don't have to use a lot, really. This really conserves the sauce. You put your lid on, and this makes the mess so easy. Like if you wanted to toss these and be brave and throw it, you can, but I've made a lot of mistakes doing that. What I do is just
run a lot of shirts.
That's right, exactly. My wife doesn't like it. She has to get the spray and stain stuff out. But we're just kind of flipping them gently back and forth, just coating them in this firecracker sauce. And remember, it's hot sauce, brown sugar, a little bit of cider vinegar, and our red pepper flakes. It's real simple.
Sweet heat, little acid.
Look how it coats these wings.
Oh, they're glazed up beautiful.
And then what we do is we take them out, we put them on our board, We've got Firecracker chicken wings. I'm just going to toss the rest of these real quick.
So you can serve these pretty quick after you roll them, because it will get a little rubbery.
That's right. You don't have to let these rest too long. They don't, I mean, it's not like a big piece of beef or something like that, or steak. They're ready to go pretty much immediately. But it just gives them such a pretty color. You get that kind of reddish, reminds me of the 4th of July with this grilled barbecue chicken, man. That's just one of the things I remember as a kid. We always had. And I like the wings. They just have so much flavor, and you get the skin, you know, all the good stuff that goes with them.
Easy finger food, easy to walk around.
And now, if you've got any extra in the bowl, you can just do a light little drizzle right over the top to give them some extra. You know, let's keep it spicy.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
Wings aren't. You're supposed to get messy eating wings.
That's right.
This is not a clean thing. You're gonna need multiple napkins, roll of paper towels, etc.
That's Firecracker chicken wings.
Firecracker chicken. They smell amazing. I can't wait to dive in. Imagine they're a little hot.
So I'm gonna grab this one right here. Which one are you going for?
I'm going for this one that's already starting to fall apart.
Fall apart.
Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. I like to take them. Go ahead and separate that drumming. I'll take that little flapper part off. You can save that and all in it if you want. Look at that. Bone spit right out. That's what I want to see. They are a little on the hot side.
Or I like a little of that. We'll press.
Take that whole wing. This flavor right there.
Fall apart. Fantastic, man.
But they're not super spicy. It's not what you think. It's not going to burn you down. The sweet offsets it.
It's got enough heat for you to know it's a wing.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, those are good.
Skin's perfect. Meat's
not
juicy.
rubbery. You can bite through it.
So easy. Happy 4th of July. So we let our pork tenderloins rest about 15, 20 minutes. That's all. So if you're traveling to a party, man, you can knock these out at home, drive over to wherever you're going.
Yep.
Prep all this on site. So what we're going to do is slice these up now. So I just use my brisket slicer. You can use whatever knife you want. But I do like to keep it kind of on the thin side. That way we can pile the meat up on the slider and it's super
Gives you a good bite.
That's exactly right. So you don't have to do anything too crazy with them. We got to cut us a few little sample bites. Look at this little tenderloin. I mean, you can tell it's tender. It's juicy.
Oh, yeah.
Melts in your mouth.
That's amazing.
Crazy, isn't it?
Amazing.
So let's just knock out some quick slices on it. And you can see it, you can cut them thin enough to where this is going to feed a ton of people, man. You can make a bunch of these little sliders just with 2 packs of these tenderloins. And the cook is so fast, and we're looking at about an hour. And here we are racing the storm trying to get
I know.
finished.
I mean, that's what we were looking at. We got a little rumble in the distance. We're wrapping up just on time here.
So we're having barbecue that's not taking too long. It's not like we cooked a big pork shoulder or pork butt overnight or a brisket,
You're cooking 4th of July, right? It's time to friends and family, but it's also generally hot outside.
That's right.
You don't want to be sitting out there by a smoker for hours.
I mean, 135 is the magic
perfect.
number. Let them rest over to about 140. Super tender, super juicy. So I've got some of these little slider rolls, and you can just buy these at the store. They're pre-cut. If you wanted to use the Hawaiians that you cut yourself, just cut them in half, man.
And you got
Super
Memphis
easy.
style here. I see some slaw. I see pickle.
This is my, paying homage to my hometown, man. Got a couple little slices of dill pickle. Thin sliced dill pickle. Then we're going to take our pork and just stack it up. As many slices as you like. Usually I go 3. All right, now I'm going to drizzle just a little barbecue sauce right over the top. Doesn't need a lot, just to give it another little pop of flavor. We're going to finish it off with a little bit of Memphis style slaw. You got some tongs
over here?
Yeah. We'll just take a little bit of slaw.
You got to have your greens, right?
You got to. This makes the doctors happy,
right?
Yeah. You got to have that fiber action going, but a good mayonnaise-based slaw with this pork says barbecue to me.
Is this slaw? Because I hadn't tried it yet. Is it a sweet slaw?
It's a little sweet.
A little sweet, but that adds a little extra. Yep.
Exactly. But you get the crispness from it that offsets that tenderness of the meat. So we'll take our top buns, go right over the top, get our knife back.
That knife. We'll slide this over.
Let's just cut them just a little bit, just to break that bun loose. Same thing. And that's it. that's all there is to these little sliders, man. You want to
They
go
look
ahead and try
amazing.
one?
Yes, I do. I can't wait. I've been sitting here smelling them.
We got a bunch more to build because we got a lot of pork left. But look at that sandwich right there. I want to put that on
perfect.
camera. I want y'all to see. Tender pork barbecue tenderloin with the slaw, with the pickle crunch on bottom, little soft roll.
Simple, but man, it was good. Executed perfect.
Packed full of flavor. Perfect little sandwich to walk around with at your 4th of July barbecue. These are so easy. Y'all got to try them.
Got to give this a try. Well, Malcolm, we beat the weather. It's thundering. We're going to hurry up and finish up, but we wrapped it all up. Everything is amazing. We're done with the cook. We're going to roll into the podcast studio and actually get into some depth on some of the recipes.
Absolutely.
And tips, tricks, things
We can
like
talk.
that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some other 4th of July ideas. We'll talk about these recipes, and most importantly, we're going to get out of this storm.
That's exactly right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ducks Unlimited podcast. We came back from a break. We escaped the weather. Barely. Barely.
The power's still on.
That it is. So we've had our good friends over from How to BBQ Right. We got Mr. Malcom Reed. He's been cooking for us today. We made some fantastic dishes. We're going to jump into those. Malcolm, what was kind of the thoughts for today for you?
Well, when y'all asked me to come out and we're thinking about 4th of July recipes, I was thinking about what dishes do I like to serve to my friends and my family around 4th of July. And most of the time it's pretty easy stuff. It's not overcomplicated, and it centers around the grill.
Right.
So I was kind of thinking, man, what if we did, an appetizer, and that was kind of the queso, smoked queso, and then
Always a crowd fan.
and then the other elements is something that you can walk around and eat and have a good time. You don't sit down and have to have like a fork and knife and a full plate and everything.
Right.
So wings definitely fit the bill for that. I mean, I'm a hot wing junkie.
Oh, man. And wings on a smoker or a grill, like you get that extra smoky flavor.
That's
that
right.
just takes them to a different level. They're
Absolutely.
so good. And we did that on a charcoal grill. If you got a pellet smoker at home,
Oh, yeah.
you want to talk about the best thing, in my opinion, you could cook on a pellet smoker? It's
Wings.
probably chicken wings.
Man, I'd like to crank mine up to like 400 and let it rip and get that the skin renders. And so it gets a crispy side without all that grease of deep frying it. So it's actually
Right.
a healthier wing for you.
It is. And you can get that good sticky sauce on there as
Yes,
well.
the
And,
coated-
and the rub,
It just makes it, man.
you got that Memphis style, right?
It-
You got to have
yeah.
a good rub on there.
Absolutely. And then the last thing, I was thinking, how can we do I knew we were limited on time. Like, when I cook barbecue for the holidays, it's an overnight deal. It takes
Right.
multiple hours. And so I was like, I can kind of get the same flavors with a similar type meat. So I used the little pork tenderloins. And I kind of did a smoked barbecue pork tenderloin on the grill, and it just doesn't take near as long to cook those because
Right.
you don't have to run them up to 200 degrees. They're getting done, around 140's perfect temperature.
And they were fantastic. They
Oh,
were
they're
cooked
both-
perfect. And since we're doing a 4th of July episode, a cooking episode at DU, right, we had to bring some waterfowl into it. Had to bring some duck. So I broke out some duck out of my freezer. It's a good time to get rid of it when you got friends and family. Right? Share that stuff. If you learn how to cook it right, you're going to make a lot of fans.
Oh, you
Over some
absolutely
duck.
cooked it right today,
And
man.
so-
That was some of the finest duck I've tasted.
Well, thank you, man. That's one of my favorite recipes. Like if I'm trying to impress somebody at home, like that's actually one of the things I'll do. And we did the popper sauce on there. I love that. You can take that same duck though, and you can take it a completely different direction. If you do like fruit reduction or compote or something, or a little goat cheese, on
Fancy
top,
it up.
like, you can make it way fancier. And you can take it. And then also one of the other things I'll do, and I didn't do it on this one, but if you're wanting to make that presentation even better, before you put those things on the grill and right after you pluck them, I'll hit them with a propane torch. And it clears all the little pin feathers.
Singes that little feather off?
Cleans that rest up for presentation. It makes everything look so much better. And that's something you can do if you're trying to bring people over and you want to impress them. Me, when I'm cooking with my family, I don't even pick all the pin feathers out all that much. My wife cuts the skin and fat off. She doesn't want to eat that part, but she wants the skin and fat on while I'm cooking.
Well, see, I thought that was unique about it because a lot of times when I see people clean ducks, they just cut right through that skin.
Yep.
and they breast it out.
Yeah.
And you're leaving, you leave the skin, I guess because they don't want to pick the feathers or whatever. But taking that time and cleaning that breast off and leaving that fat attached as you sear that on the grill, or whether it's in a hot cast iron skillet or a flat top even.
Yep.
Flat that duck fat, that layer of fat that's in between, the meat and the skin is where all your flavor is in the duck.
And it protects it, right? As you're cooking it, keeps it from drying out. And mallards I love to do. Speckle bellies, love to do the same. You want to talk about something amazing? Go do that with some little green wing teal, fatty green wing teal fillets.
I don't know if I said this last time I was here.
Goodness, man. They're so good.
Teal is my favorite eating duck.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem is they're so small.
Right.
And so you really do need to breast that out and leave the skin on so you're not wasting any of it. But, it is so hard to beat a teal. And then, what's next for me? Wood duck.
I do love a good wood duck. I do too.
Wood duck, and we have a ton of them in Mississippi.
Well, and if you're someone who likes to breast them out, right, wood ducks are a pain to breast out. That skin's stuck on there. So if you just pluck them and then cut them out with the skin and fat on them.
And singe them
like that, you can clean them up. They're actually just as easy about to do that. And once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to just pluck the breast on them. Yeah.
Well, that's how I'm going to be doing them. From now on, I will definitely be doing that because I was from let's just, cut them out. No one never taught me that. But scoring that skin to where the fat escapes as it renders and makes it crispy, it is just a unique bite. And I love the way you slice that breast across the grain.
Trying to keep those bites tender.
It leaves that. It's almost like the brisket fat that we leave on a slice of brisket. It's just a thin little layer, and it has so much like from the sear from the grill, the crispiness, the rich fattiness cuts the leanness of the meat, and it just melts in your mouth.
I do like another favorite recipe of mine, and it's a fun one, and you'll probably like this one. I do a brine, again, same thing, but brisket rub it, put it in your smoker, and basically do a reverse sear on it that way. But do it like super low, 200 degrees, maybe even 170 if you can get your smoker down that. Let it get some good smoke on it.
Almost a cold smoke technique.
Almost. And then hot iron skillet, skin side down, sear it, get that skin crispy on the outside. That one's pretty good too.
I'm all about that too. I'm all about that too.
Yeah. I love to cook duck, so that's kind of my thing. Was I wanted to make sure like you can make duck fantastic. You can make it approachable too.
Absolutely. Well, you know what was the sauce? Let's talk about that because you had an idea. He's like, everybody knows duck poppers. Everybody loves them.
They're fantastic.
I mean, I think that was the first wild game that I ever learned to cook was a popper.
Yep.
And everybody knows so it's usually whatever wild game you have. This is the case. Duck is excellent for poppers. And then they usually put a piece of jalapeno or some kind of pepper in it, some cream cheese, and then wrap the whole thing in bacon, and it makes a popper.
Yeah.
And so the hard part is getting that bacon that you've wrapped around done before you overcook the duck to where it's inedible. And that's always been the challenge for it.
That's it. And that's something that everyone's like, oh, duck's gamey. You probably overcooked it.
Right.
And so if you can keep from overcooking it, but it's hard to do on a popper if you're looking at the bacon. So to try and get around that was what I did is I went and like we were talking about, pulled all those ingredients. I had jalapeno. I had cream cheese. I had bacon. I put it in a Ninja. Zip that thing up. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, some of that W sauce. I like that flavor it brings. Some of your AP seasoning to make sure I got the salt level right and a little garlic in there. Let that ride. And then some Mexican crema because it keeps that creamy
element to it,
just to make it to where it'll blend and make a good dip.
So it's a popper sauce with all those elements that you could either dip the duck in or drizzle it with it, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
Well,
I think that was like the deconstructed popper sauce. Man, I'm gonna have to give you credit, but I'm gonna have to share that with everybody that watches my videos.
Do it. I appreciate that because it's like I said, I like to make duck approachable, right? Wild game. I love to cook deer. I love to cook. We eat everything from dove, squirrel, deer,
to fish, to turkey, to everything.
Turkey, yeah. And so, making that wild game approachable, something that's good, right? And that's something. But
that's what's fun about the cooking aspect of it. You can make things your own like that. You can have an idea, or find somebody's recipes like some of the ones we shared.
Yeah,
and take those and use the ingredients you like, the flavors you like, follow the technique, and then it'll be your own unique recipe.
Right, and that's something we will say is. At the end of the video, we'll probably drop the link to some of these recipes. in the video credits and stuff. And but you don't have to stick to it. Make it your own, right? If you want a little more heat, bring a little more heat. You want a little more sweet, bring a little more sweet. Make it how you want it.
Right.
I think that's going to be something important.
So we also did the cheese dip because that was one of the recipes that I brought. I was thinking,
it was
like,
so
what's
good.
a great appetizer around the holidays? And I don't know about your family, but every function we have, someone's bringing a big crock pot or so. The cheese dip or the queso is always going to be there. And so what I like doing is taking it to another level. Instead of doing it in the crock pot, getting it out on the pit and picking up those essences of the wood, the smoke you're using, that grill flavor. It makes such a difference in making it just something that's a little bit better than the norm that you're used to, the crock pot version.
Well, and smoked cheese is fantastic.
Yes, it is. It really is.
It is. You take cheese is fantastic, but you could take it up a complete different notch when you add that smoke element to it. It was fantastic. I love the idea that you brought about throwing in some venison breakfast sausage or some kind of wild game. And I don't know if you've ever tried this. Something else I'll do with that duck and that's with the skin on it sometimes. I'll grind it. It makes, if you got good fat, it makes a dang good chorizo. And
so you can make, duck
too.
Chorizo would be excellent with queso.
Because it handles all those big flavors.
Yeah, absolutely. What I've typically done, and I have done a chorizo version of that. And I don't like mixing the chorizo in with the cheese, the queso. Because it changes the color. Usually chorizo is pretty fatty, so it has in the seasonings it'll stain the whole queso if you don't watch it. But what I do is serve the chorizo, brown it up, serve it on top,
like you did the pico,
just like we did the pico.
Okay, yeah.
That way it's not going to get mixed in, and when people drag their chips to it or they serve themselves some, they get some of that chorizo with it, but the queso, and you just kind of mix it to your plate and eat it, and it's much better that way.
Well, I love the way you had the pico on top because it brought a little bit of freshness,
that's right,
some lightness on top of that really rich dip.
Cheese sauce. And it's processed American cheese. But the best quesos are, man. Like if you think about the ones you go to the Mexican restaurant and get the white cheese dip or the
you're
white
not
queso,
getting that creamy texture without the good old processed cheese.
Yeah, it's processed American. And that Velveeta works. And I add the cream cheese to give it that extra level of creaminess. Thin it down with a little milk, and then add the rotel and the green chilies. How easy is that?
Easy stuff.
It
You can
is.
find. It's not hard to find.
No,
right? That's you're not having to source crazy ingredients.
Right. If you're just starting out and cooking outside and you want to, cook something that people are going to just devour, cook on that cheese dip.
That cheese dip was, yes. No one's going to complain about that. And then we switched over and you had, we did the wings, and those wings, we let those roll a lot longer than probably a lot of people thought. Like,
yeah. That's the biggest question I get is, man, you've overcooked those wings so bad, because everybody knows like white meat on a chicken is done at 165. That's the recommended USDA where they say minimum to take it to. That's the minimum.
Yeah.
And that's just to make sure it's safe to consume.
Yes.
Well, yes, the chicken is done at that point, but for a wing to have all of that connective tissue that it has, the thicker skin, it just isn't broke down enough. You haven't rendered that fat in between the skin and the meat.
Yep.
And so it's going to be chewy.
It is. And not just the meat, but the skin and it's just everything.
That's right.
It's not a good bite.
And so I like taking them upwards of 190. I mean, if they get right at 200, they're perfect. Yep. But those today, there were some of them that hit like 202. There were some of them that were like 195, but they were all in that range. And what you notice, and I like cooking the whole wing.
Yes.
I just think it stays juicier.
It does. It holds all that moisture
Exactly. And when you cut it apart, you're going to lose a lot of that. I mean, it goes further, but I love a whole wing.
Well, and let them rest. Let those juices. That's another part of that too. And that's what I was going to ask is what temp did you end up letting those get to? Because they were awesome. Yeah. And as far as getting a good bite, like they're easy to eat when they're cooked.
The bones just jump out of them. It's like almost little instant read thermometers in them. When you pull them apart and that bone comes out clean.
And it's another good forgiving dish to cook.
It is. It absolutely is. It's hard to screw up a wing. The way I did them, I started them off on the side, indirect heat. So if you're thinking of a smoker, a pellet grill, it's easy. You just set the temperature you want. But like the grill we cooked on today, we had to build our coals on one side. So we had a real hot zone, a direct side. And then we could move our racks around to where we had a cool side. And that's where I started these wings at. It starts rendering them. It starts setting that bark on them. They were simply seasoned with just some hot barbecue rub, nothing fancy. I didn't do anything special to them. Put them right on the pit, and I'd let them go about 30 minutes and flipped them in another 30 minutes. And that's when I slid them over just to get some direct heat to kind of get us a char. Yeah. And I just like that flavor it gives them on the grill.
And while they're doing that, I made up my Firecracker sauce. And that one's so
good, man.
There's nothing wrong with just a smoked grilled wing like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fine on its own, just with some seasonings and eat it. But since we were doing 4th of July, I was like, man, my Firecracker sauce will go perfect with these wings. And I do it all the time. It's an easy sauce. It's just a bottle of hot sauce, some brown sugar, some red pepper flakes, a little bit of salt, and a splash of cider vinegar. And you just mix it up and set it on the pit and let it warm up.
It was so good. And then that your hot sauce you used, again, brought those awesome garlicky notes in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a straight hot sauce.
Yeah, and and this isn't
has-
a super hot one either.
No, but you had enough red pepper flake in there, too, to bring that heat. And, man, it all came together fantastic.
And you know, another thing with the sauce, anytime I'm doing a wing sauce, whether it's just a traditional buffalo sauce or this Firecracker, whatever it is, I always get my wing fully cooked on the grill or wherever I'm cooking it, bring it to the table and sauce it. That way you're not putting that sauce back on there. You don't have to use near as much sauce. It coats it really well because that chicken's really hot. And then when you toss it in it with a little bowl with the lid, it's so easy, and then you just dump it out and ready to go.
And if you put those wings back on, especially if you've got them on that direct heat to try and do that, you've got so much sugar in that sauce. It's easy to burn.
You already know. That's exactly what will happen.
I've made that mistake a lot.
You have to watch it, and that's why you'll see, like, when a lot of times when I'm seasoning or stuff, I try to use stuff that doesn't have a high sugar content because of that burning effect. I mean, there's a fine point to where sugars caramelize and then they go to burn, and that's what's going to give your barbecue an off taste.
Right.
It's almost a bittery, a bitter flavor, and you don't want that in it. So keep your sugars, your sauces, your glazes to the very end of the cooking process where they're not over that direct heat too long, and you don't have to worry about that.
Right. Well, and that's something else I wanted to ask. Like, where do you think that grill was floating at on that indirect side?
So on the indirect side, I think it was about 250.
250.
I think it was right in that range. There was 2 dials on it. I don't know how accurate they were because that's the first time I cooked on that grill. But one of them was running like right at 350 on the hot side, and then the center one was running about 250. And it felt like it. I noticed when you cooked the duck, you seared the duck first, and then you moved it back to the back corner. Well, there was a lot of heat rolling in that back side.
There was, yep.
And so that duck got done pretty fast, and you caught it. You was like, well, we need to move it back over here because it's really hot the way it's flowing back there.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Ducks one was, again, like I mentioned, don't overcook it.
Yeah.
And so I watch it like a hawk because I won't mess it up. I got good company here. I don't want to make something not too good. And then from there, we rolled on to those pork sliders. Man, the pork was like the way it was cooked perfect. And you cooked to 135, 140, right? And old school thought on pork is to overcook it to death.
Oh, most people do. There's like,
they want to take it to it's like
super white. It's like, tough and tight, and there's no moisture. You can't chew it. You've got to drown it in sauce to get it to choke down. Those little pork tenderloins are meant to be cooked about 140. They'll carry over to 145, and that is perfect.
They were absolutely perfect. They were tender. They were juicy.
So what I was thinking with those is I knew I just didn't have time to smoke a pork butt or short shoulder or something or cook ribs. So I could do these little pork tenderloins and do the barbecue touch to them. I hit them with like a little mustard binder.
It had all the great flavor. It reminded me of one of my favorite barbecue places over in Arkansas. I'm not going to mention it, but it's sliced pork shoulder with slaw. That's what they do.
You don't see that style a lot.
You don't.
The sliced pork, because there's a lot of people they'll cook butts and they'll undercook them. When I say undercook them, they're not trying to pull them or chop them.
Right.
They're taking them to like 175.
Yeah.
And then letting it cool down and then running it on a deli slicer. So you get this stacked sandwich of. I love that style. It's unique. It's a different kind of barbecue. I mean, Kansas City they do it a lot too. There's some places out there that do it, and they'll pile it high on like white bread. And it's just pour the sauce
serves on it. Yeah, cheapo white bread or a bun.
I think I know where you're talking about. I've had that in Arkansas.
They do have some of the best coleslaw I've ever had. I do have to say that.
But
that slaw brings that brightness.
That's right.
And helps all those kind of mellow out those barbecue flavors. It offsets extra sweetness too with it.
Offsets the richness of that pork, and
you had the pickles in there too.
Yep. That's the way I do the sliders. So after we got those tenderloins cooked and I glazed them with the little barbecue sauce to kind of have that look to them, sliced them up thin, and I just took little slider buns that you can buy at the grocery store, or you could use Hawaiian rolls, whatever you want. And I put a couple thin slices of dill pickle down, 2 or 3 slices of the pork, a little drizzle of the barbecue sauce, and then topped them with that sweet kind of mayo creamy slaw. and then put the top bun on, and it's a little barbecue sandwich that you can just walk around and eat 6 of them.
And it holds together pretty well,
It does,
right? Because
it
it's not
does.
pulled pork. Like
Yeah.
they don't fall apart like pulled pork.
And it's super tender. You don't need. I mean,
No.
you almost don't even need teeth to eat it. It's so soft. I mean, it's really, really good.
It was all fantastic. Yeah, we had to smell it all day.
Oh man, that's the best part though. But see, I mean, to me, that's 4th of July.
Good part was we got to eat it too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the hard part about my job. You know, I do all this cooking, and somebody's got to eat it. So
It's quality control.
it's quality control.
Well, that's
yeah.
exactly right.
We forgot to mention the bird dog cocktail you threw together.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, we
Dude,
can't.
I'm all about some birds. What was it, the peach bird dog shanty?
It was a peach bird dog shandy, yes.
Yes.
And so we had equal parts, some Busch Light, so light beer, and then there was a San Pellegrino sparkling lemonade
Yeah.
in there as well, with about a shot of
Healthy shot.
peach. Yeah, well, a little bit peach bird dog whiskey, and man, it was fantastic.
That might
It
be
was
the drink of the
refreshing.
summer right there, man.
Give it a try. I mean,
It was really good.
it was really good.
But some of the best memories I've had, my earliest memories of barbecues, 4th of July. My family always had a big barbecue, and that's kind of what got me into it.
Is it?
My dad and uncles all being around the barbecue grills, and I just remember all the meat they would cook and spread out like we did today on a picnic table, and just everybody would get around. It was just always fun. So
Hang out, everybody shoot a few fireworks,
that's
right? It's a season to remember like our independence, this great country. We have the ability to hunt. We have the ability to hang out, have this amazing barbecue places and great food traditions. But remembering that is important on this today as
Absolutely.
well, right? It's a special day. Y'all go out, hang out with your family. Remember the reason why we're out here. And yeah, surround yourself with friends, family, and your favorite places.
yeah, absolutely.
Whether for me, I'm probably hanging out at the lake. We've got, and I'm not gonna say lake. It ain't a real pretty lake. I'm on a swampy lake, but we hang out. It's friends, family. The smoker's fired up. And that's the place to be.
It doesn't get any better than that. And I hope
No.
everybody has a great summer and great holiday season coming up. Definitely fire those grills up.
Yes. Well, Malcolm, do you have any other things, closing thoughts on our cook today?
Man, other than I just appreciate the invite. Anytime I get to come hang out with you guys, y'all are always been so nice and hospitable. And it's always fun for me to get to share some of the barbecue stuff that I do.
Well, man.
And so I appreciate it. And I just hope everybody enjoys it. And I hope everybody, y'all try these recipes because anybody can do it. This stuff isn't overly complicated, man. If I can do it, I promise you can. And you can definitely impress your friends and share some of this love with them.
Fine eating food. And Malcolm, we're so thankful that you came over. The way you cook, the way you tell people how to cook, the way you teach makes all this so much more approachable. It makes really, really good food super approachable. That's why we were so happy to have you jump on, because everything you touch and the way you show that stuff is makes it so easy. It's something that we love.
Well,
and
thank you.
Thank you for coming out. And I want to take a minute. I want to thank our awesome podcast crew, Chris and Rachel, for pulling all this together. Landon over there, he's off on the side. He was running around like a chicken with his head cut off with a camera through all this, trying to get it, racing the weather and the storm. And we had a fun little pause every once in a while with some storms coming through.
It got exciting there for a minute.
It did.
You probably hear some thunder in the background.
For sure. if not, then Chris did an amazing job. And so with that, I really want to thank y'all for tuning in on this awesome episode, this 4th of July episode. Happy 4th, and thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the DU Podcast, sponsored by Purina Pro Plan, the official performance dog food of Ducks Unlimited. Purina Pro Plan, always advancing. Also proudly sponsored by Bird Dog Whiskey and Cocktails. Whether you're winding down with your best friend or celebrating with your favorite crew, Bird Dog brings award-winning flavor to every moment. Enjoy responsibly. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show, and visit ducks.org/DU Podcast. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of Ducks Unlimited. Until next time, stay tuned to the Ducks.